Good morning, and thank you for subscribing and following my channel. I'm Bella Fell Siren, um, or some of you may know me as Sister Minerva or Tikva Naeem, but yeah, but my nickname is Bella Fell Siren, and I'm a cosmetologist and a sister of perpetual indulgence. So my makeup skills are um, all right, good or fair, ish. I do want to expand my makeup skills, so I thought I would start a channel. So thank you to those that are following my channel or starting to follow my channel. Please, after watching my makeup application video, um, please share, invite more people to follow. Feel free to try what I'm doing. Today, I think I'm just gonna try maybe like just a basic look. I might end up going more dramatic with the eyes. I don't know. But we're just gonna kind of see where it goes. Today, I'm going to be doing my matched skin tone look. Most of the time when you guys see me, most of the time, I usually am in white face, which is my nun look when I am Sister Minerva. But let's get started. So I have already shaved really close, um, and I have used my favorite serum, which is the Talani Brightening Serum with vitamin C in it. And I had followed with a jade roller after applying that. You don't necessarily have to use a jade roller if you don't want to. Me, I just prefer to do it because I'm trying to sculpt my jawline again. I'm 38. I miss seeing, you know, a jawline for days. I don't know if I'll ever get that back unless I invest in some cosmetic surgery for that. After doing that, I have followed up with my other favorite moisturizer, which is the American Crew All-in-One Face Balm. It has a broad spectrum SPF of 15 in it. I did use it down about halfway and then added Finapil to it, which is a product that usually most cosmetologists or waxing specialists follow up with after you get a waxing service. So I have added Finapil to this and shaken it up really well, so that helps slow down the growth of hair, whether it be from waxing or shaving. So that's mixed in there. Unfortunately, I don't have the tube to show you because I already threw that out. But I am going to show you how to do a liquid highlight today with my matched skin tone, and then I'm going to do a powder contour because I'm not brave enough to do cream contour yet. And then we'll just kind of go from there for the most part. So I like to use a foundation brush to start off with. So we're going to start off with that. I'm starting to become a really big fan of the Jeffree Star products. I don't have very many of his stuff, but I have a fair amount of his tools, or their tools. Don't know their correct pronoun. Sorry if it was offensive to anyone. But I'm going to be using the JS1 for my foundation. And then after that is applied, then I will most likely go in with the Jeffree Star Morphe blending sponges. I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15. Got to protect that skin. Really big on that. I like to roll instead of shake. I think it's kind of a cosmetologist thing. You know, we just don't shake because of possibly air bubbles. I don't know. Some of us just shake anyway. But I'm going to be applying this directly to my brush. Don't know how many pumps of that I'm going to need to start off with, but we'll just apply more later. I have already prepped my hair away from my face. So that way, if you have long hair, you want to make sure that that's pulled away. And I am pushing this up into the hairline. So that way I have my coverage. Now this particular foundation from MAC that I am using, if I recall correctly, it is a full coverage. You just have to layer it on. I have a friend that, actually a few friends that work at the MAC counter, and they help me every time I go in there because my makeup game isn't where I would like it to be. So a lot of times I go in and just browse, look around. I don't always buy anything, but a lot of times I go in with the plan to purchase something, but it just kind of depends on if they have what I'm looking for, because I see lots of products on Instagram, and I will go in going to purchase it, and they may not have it, or it may not be released yet. One of my friends, when I went in and bought this foundation, she helped me get matched, even though I do know how to match for foundation. But the thing is now there are so many different foundations out now, and I was looking for a foundation that had an SPF in it, the highest SPF that they have, but also still was full coverage, as well as anti-aging qualities in it, because I'm trying to take care of my skin. I neglected it. I will say I worshiped the sun gods when I was in my 20s, and I probably really screwed my skin up because of that. And now I have to pay for it, but that's okay. Now, I did get a little bit of it on my lips. I'm not worried about it. I can go in and clean that up later. As well as if I got too much of it on my ears that I don't want on my ears, I can go in and clean that up later too, because I'm really not too worried about it. Now I'm just kind of beating this in a little bit, just to get a more even feel to it before I move down onto my neck. I personally like to put it down on my neck just because my skin is a little sensitive to me shaving. It hates it. Plan is eventually to go ahead and get laser hair removal. I was going to do it many years ago and didn't, and decided to grow a really awesome beard that I grew down to here, and then wore it for years, decided I didn't like it anymore and got rid of it, and now I want to get laser hair removal again. So, never had laser hair removal done, but still want to do it. Now, if you are gonna put makeup on your neck, you want to make sure that you get it behind your ears too. And I'm talking to, you know, our lovely people who are starting to think about being a female impersonation artist that have never done it before. And that's just with match skin tone makeup. Now, by all means, if you're doing white face, which is, you see most Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence do it, but there are a few female impersonation artists out there that enjoy using the white canvas look, because makeup is an art, whether it be for entertainment purposes or drag, or just because you enjoy playing in makeup, whether it be on yourself or doing, or if you want to pursue something in a makeup career, whether it be like special effects looks for movies or television, whatnot. Alrighty. So I have applied my foundation. Okay, so much for really trying to clean that up a little bit there. I like to keep specific makeup towels nearby, just specifically for makeup, so that way I don't ruin any of my other towels. By the way, if I wasn't more specific about this earlier, or for some of you just now deciding to, if you skipped part of it or whatever, this is the MAC Studio Fix SPF 15 Broad Spectrum foundation, and this specific color is NC25. I'm assuming the NC is natural cool, at least that's what it means in cosmetology world, but in makeup world, it may be something else. All right, so moving on, now I'm going to be applying my highlighter in a liquid concealer form. This is the 24-Hour MAC Studio Fix 24-Hour Smooth Wear Concealer, and it is color NW24, assuming that means natural warm. Now, typically with a liquid highlight, you want to go 1 or 2 shades lighter than what your foundation base color is, which would be what I have on right now before applying this. Just kind of depends on how much of a, whether you want more of a dramatic or more subtle look. I always say start more subtle, and then later on you can move to a more dramatic look. So if you want more of a subtle look, 1 shade, and then it's going to marry really well with your base. So we are going to, now that I've got that all nice and rolled out, I am going to do the bridge of my nose. And my chin. And then the other part that you want to do is the center of your forehead that goes into your brow bone. Some people like to draw different ways in there for the shape of their highlight that they like. Sometimes I will do a heart, or sometimes I will do a more like a sunset type of shape. So like I might do something kind of more like that. Hence why I put the heart shape in there. And then the other spot that you want to highlight is under the eyes, down to the top of your lips, and kind of like an odd triangle shape. And if you like, you can use this highlighter also to brighten up your eyelid area, just so that way those colors can pop a little bit more when you go to put your eyeshadow on. I'm going to experiment with that today, and we're going to see how I like it. I may end up hating it. Who knows? Typically, I don't put it on my eyelids, though, but I am today. All right. So I've got my Jeffree Star blending sponge, and we are just going to blend that all out. Now, even though I did do like the little heart design on my forehead, I'm still going to blend that out to where it's feeling more like that half circle sunrise kind of look. You can kind of see how it's a little bit more brighter through there. And that's all blended out. Another place that I like to take my highlighter that I forgot to do a moment ago is right on my Cupid's bow, because I like to accent that a little bit more. So I'm just going to do a little dot there. And I'm going to take my smaller Jeffree Star Morphe blending brush, or sponge, sorry, not. Just to give that a little bit more of an accent there. Go back in on those eyes again. I'm actually kind of really liking that I went ahead and put that up on my eyelids because that really did brighten that up a little bit more. All right. So now we are going to go in with my contouring brush and my contour puck, which is actually just a darker blush, but you can use it as a contour. This particular color in MAC's powder blush is called Prism. It's a matte blush, which is perfect for contour. You want a matte when you do a contour because unfortunately if it had a shimmer to it, it would give you a different look. Not saying that's what you want to do, but if you want a shimmer, you probably either want to use that for your like a powder highlight or a powder blush to go on top of your highlight that you have already done. So we're just going to swirl that around a little bit, give it a nice little couple of pats, trying to not create any fallout. I've been watching Jeffree Star's channel just to kind of help give me some guidance for when I start playing in makeup more, because the plan is at some point to get part-time work at a local makeup counter here in Topeka, preferably one that I shop at. And then that way, if my spouse and I ever move out of Kansas and move to like a different country, I don't think I'll do hair anymore. I just want to work in makeup full time. So this is kind of my, dirt path to the yellow brick road at some point, I would say. Or for when I decide to quit doing hair full time and just do makeup full time. So it's a plan. But I look to my friends that work in makeup for inspiration, as well as well-known Jeffree Star, who has been in the beauty business for well over 10 years, which is really amazing. Yeah. All right. This particular brush is another Jeffree Star Morphe collaboration. And this one is the JS20. It's an angled brush. Love it for contour. We are going to start with the forehead and go from the corner of your brow up into your temple. For me, I go all the way up into my hairline because I've got this crazy little peaked spot in the corners. I wouldn't necessarily call it receding on me because my hairline has always been like that, even when I was a kid and in my early 20s. And then the other side. Now I am going rather dark with this, which is fine. And then I'm connecting the two pieces at the top of my hairline from where I had did my corners. And I'm basically following that nice little circular shape with it. Yeah, well, I don't know where I put my brush, but that's all right. Okay, maybe I just need to readjust my clips because I keep getting hair falling in there. All right. Normally when I do makeup, I hairspray my hair back because I have intentions of wearing a wig. Because I like longer hair on me, or my hair is sprayed back because I'm going to manifest as Sister Minerva, and I need to be able to have my coronet sit on my head, and I can't really be having my hair down in my face, so. I will also mention about this, as I'm swirling my brush in, I am noticing that there is no fallout on this. I'm trying to practice that, so that way I get a better idea about that, because it's all a learning experience. All right, contour, we're going right under the cheekbone, down towards the bottom of the lip. And I just took that up to the top of the ear, at my hairline, at the top of my cheekbone. Did a nice little soft smile-ish. All right, and for the other side. All right. Again, that was the MAC powder blush. They're matte in color Prism. And now I'm going to go in with instead of using the powder I typically use to cover this with, I'm going to try something different. Normally I go in with their Studio Fix in color NW25, which would be Natural Warm 25, but I want a different look. So I'm going to go in with the MAC Prep and Prime in their translucent. It does look white, but it's translucent. And I am going to grab a powder brush for this. Because it is a compressed powder, I don't have a loose powder. The loose powder that I do have is for when I manifest, which that particular one is Clown White. I may have swirled that a little bit too much because I got a little fallout. All right. This particular brush is kind of old. It was given to me by a fellow coworker. I don't know how he received it, knowing that he doesn't do makeup. But funny thing is my coworker is also one of my best friends and my boss, which is really awesome. I just realized I haven't contoured my nose yet. So we're gonna go back in with the powder blush color Prism. And instead of using the angled brush that I used earlier, I am going to go in with I'm going to use the JS8 brush. And I've got a little cheat sheet here. I like to save, whenever I buy Jeffree Star's brushes, I like to hang on to this because it says what the brush is. This particular JS8 brush, JS8 is the Drama Crease brush. But it's going to have an additional purpose today, and that is to contour my nose. So we are going to go down the top side of my nose. Sorry, I did that earlier looking in the mirror and my hand was blocking the camera. I shouldn't have done that. So, top corner. After all, this is my first makeup video, so we are kind of learning the little bugs. Doing my left side, I apparently don't block the camera. Yeah. You know, with this whole coronavirus thing, there has been some slight blessings to it for me individually. Like, for instance, this whole me setting up a channel. So that has been a bonus. I finally set up this makeup channel because it was a plan at some point to do it. And now I've got all this extra time. where it's like you have to do it now because you need stuff to do. Seeing how I can't work with the general public anymore being a hairdresser because our salon is closed. I'm also going to go up onto my brow bone here because I want to have a little bit more structure there. And I am going just a little bit up under my actual brow, but up into my brow as well, just because I want to change the shape of my face a little bit. And that's really what all contouring is changing the shape so that way you can give the appearance of that oval face. Because ideally, that's what everyone wants, is an oval face. I'm also going to go back in with my chiseled JS20 and contour under the jawline. See how that just kind of made me look like I have a chin again? Isn't that lovely? All right. So I have contoured my nose, contoured my jawline, made me look like I have cheeks again, contoured my nose and my forehead. Now, I didn't dip this brush again. I'm just kind of blending it out a little bit. I'll go back in again later and blend even more. Giving a once-over with the powder. This brush that was given to me is a Sebastian powder brush. It's the 7599 brush. Yeah. I love these, I love big ol' powder brushes. Absolutely love them. And then I've got a cute little velour puff that I keep in there. That puff is actually an e.l.f. brand. I buy them blank, and then that way I can put in a puff with the different powders that I buy, because a lot of times they come with a sponge, and I don't really like the little sponge. I like a puff instead. So that's what I did with this one too. It nice little, yeah. All right. So I am going to go in and I am going to do my brows first. I'm going to go in with my black eyeliner because I do not want to have deep dark brunette eyebrows. I'm going to go in with the black instead. And we are going to use the JS7. One end is a chiseled brush, which is great for eyebrows, and then the other end is more like a mascara wand. So that way, depending on what kind of brow you are going for, you can brush them out a little bit. I'm scared to try the more natural looking brows, so I tend to do the more dramatic looking brow that almost looks like it's tattooed on, that you can see from like a mile away. Now, for those of you who have never filled your brow in, I will recommend that your first time trying it, you might want to try it on a day that you don't have to go somewhere because you might hate how it looks. Experimenting with something new when you need to go somewhere or to an event is probably a bad idea unless you're confident enough, then by all means do it. So I've got my basis line for my brow, and now I am filling in the top portion of it. I drew this on a little bit differently than what I typically do, but that is quite all right. I'm thinking I actually kind of like it better. I put the arch up a little bit higher than where my natural brow is, but in the spot where that arch is, my brows are really thin. And sometimes in different pictures, when I have no makeup on, the thicker part of my brow is the darker section, and sometimes it kind of comes out looking almost like a Vulcan. For those of you that don't know what that is one of the people of Star Trek, like a race. Yeah, like Commander Worf. No, Commander Worf was not a Vulcan. Spock was a Vulcan. Live long and prosper. Haha. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a geek. I'm not really a Star Trek geek, but I will say that if I was going to be crazy about watching Star Trek, I like the old series that had Captain Kirk in it, from like the 60s or 70s, I believe it was. Yeah. So now, you know what? I'm going to move this camera over here just so that way I don't block it, because I think I've being a poor host about where my camera is. Now I don't have to worry about if you can't see me or not. So again, basis of the brow, got my arch where I want it, and boom. Typical rule with eyebrows, you don't have to follow them, but in cosmetology, when you're first learning about it, is the beginning of your brow should start at the width of the widest point of your nose. And then your arch is at the widest part of your width of your nose, but at an angle. And then generally that goes right through where your pupil is. Mine is just shy of it, but that's all right because I wanted a different shape. And then it should stop at the corner of your eye, go straight down to the width of your nose. So, but there's no rule about how your eyebrows should look. If you choose to draw them on differently or have a different shape, because some people like them more thick looking, some people like them more thin. Some people even really enjoy like those old like 1920s looks with their eyebrows, back when the actresses grazed the silver screen at the picture show. Kind of showing my age a little bit there for some of you that don't know what the picture show is. That is the movie theater. I know I am not that old, but I come from a big family. My mother is number 10 of 11 kids, and my dad is either 7 of 8 or 8 of 9. I can't remember what it is. But my mother's mother was born in 1919. And even though being the religious people that they were growing up, they did not go and watch television or go to the movies because that was too worldly. But that's what they would have called it if they would have went, was the picture show. All right. I'm not too fond of the way my arch looks there, so we're just going to add a tiny bit more and thicken that up a little more. Lovely. Oh. Maybe I should have went with the dark brown because that is kind of heavy looking, just because of the fact that I am not going to be wearing a wig later. All right. Now, this particular color that I used for my brows is actually a gel eyeliner. Absolutely love it. It is from MAC. It is called Black Track Pro Long Fluid Line Eyeliner Gel. It comes in a little pot. It's awesome. You can get them in different colors. I have it in blue also. Absolutely love it. And then my brown one is actually for brows. But you could use it as an eyeliner too. It's got a little, it's a more warmer tone. Honestly, should have used it. But after I get done doing my makeup, I will you know, maybe enjoy my makeup for a little bit, or I may just go and wash it off. I don't know. But limitations are quite limited. Now I am going to go back in on my brows again, now that I have that set, and I am going to go in, this is a Make Your Own palette of 4 with just their MAC's Basic Black eyeshadow. I'm not going to pull the pan out to see what color it is because I don't want to get my fingers messier than what they're going to be by the time I finish doing my makeup. But I am just going to lightly powder over top of that just to matte it up a little bit, just so it's not so wet looking to my eye. It may not be to everyone else's eye, but to mine, a little bit better. I'm also noticing as I do this, it's actually not feeling like it's as dark, even though it totally is. All right, I did get a little wing of a boo-boo there, but I can go back in later with my concealer to help chisel that out, which I will most likely do. And wiping my brush off on my wiping towel, which later I will be cleaning my brushes out after I get done doing the makeup, as well as my blending sponges. All right. So now we will move on to the eyeshadow. Thinking I'm probably going to use one of my newer colors, but I may change my mind. Yeah, we're going to use my newer color. Alrighty. So, this particular color is called In the Shadows. It's a really pretty shade of blue that has got a nice shimmer to it. It kind of has almost like the electric navy blue feel to it, which is kind of amazing. And I am going to be going in with my do I want to use my JS9 or do I want to use my I'm going to go in with my JS5, which is my crease queen brush of JS Jeffree Star Morphe collab. So I'm going to go in with that. I think I went a little heavy. I need to learn how to not swirl on these pans because it creates a little bit of fallout. All right. And I like to get like this cat eye look, and I have had some people curious about how I do it. So I've got this really awesome little, this is actually a foundation mixing flat. It's a piece of metal, and you mix your foundation on it if you're making foundation from scratch to match to someone. I like to use it to get those lines that I like. Some people like to use tape, which I think I may give that a try on my next makeup video. I may have to try that. I may also, on my next one, have to do 2 different tries. I may have to try, I believe it's called blocking your brows, where you glue them down. I'm going to have to give that one a try sometime too. So, thought, hang on, I'm better this way. So, thought, and I would like you to leave a comment in my comments after watching the video on whether you think I should try gluing my brows down for the next makeup video that I do, or if I should try using tape to get this nice clean line. All right. All right. Got to dig for a brush. All right. I want to, I don't know if cutting the crease is the word that I'm looking for. It may be. But I am going to go in to my crease a little bit and cut it because I want to remove some of this color that I put onto my lid that I don't necessarily want there. So I'm going to go in with my concealer All right, so I went in and cut that just a little bit because I am going to put another color on there. That was actually my first time doing that, which was a little scary for me, but that's all right. This is why it's a makeup look video, right? Is just so that way we can learn while others are learning while watching from someone learning. All right. That particular brush that I use to cut my crease with is a MAC 242 brush. So there's that. We'll plop it right there. And I just went in with my concealer that I used to highlight the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, under my eyes and this nice little center point here, and I used it on my eyelids because I wanted my color on my lids to pop a little bit more. So we have that all popped out there. All right, now I am going to go in with MAC eyeshadow New Crop. It's probably, honestly, one of my most favorite colors right now. You can tell I've used it quite a bit. It's this nice little emerald green-ish shade. And I am going to go in with my JS9 brush. I actually have to swirl it around in the pan this time, just because patting it, it doesn't want to pick up any color on there. Just actually kind of humorous to me. And surprisingly, I don't seem to be getting any fallout, considering that I've used it so much that I can see the bottom of the pan. And we are just going to go right on top of the lid with that. And as you can see, this time I am not using my foundation mixing flat because I've already got my line that I wanted for my eyeshadow. So now that I've got my color on my lid where I want it, I am marrying that with the crease of my blue, which is called Into the Woods, just so it blends out. I want it to be married a little bit. It does change the color a little bit, but you don't necessarily always want to see those harsh lines. I am going to go back in with my previous brush for that, just to bring that blue back out a little bit from where I had blended it. I didn't dip back in to the color pan because then that would have probably messed up my blending line that I was looking at. But yeah. Now with this brush, it's a clean brush. I am going in and literally blending my creases. Doesn't that look lovely? This is a rather dramatic eye, but that is okay. Can't use that brush anymore because it's got color on it from blending. All right, I'm gonna go in with a brush that I have never used yet. I'm gonna use the JS12 Sport Mode Blender Brush for the space underneath where I have drawn my eyebrows. It still has that new feel to it because it had the wrapper on it. Whenever I buy a new brush, I leave the wrapper on it until I use it for the first time. This particular color from MAC is called Forgery. It's been used quite a bit. So we'll go in with it. And I am going to go ahead and go right in that tear duct area and just bring it up under the brow, just to create a different look with it. Give it a nice little shade of shimmer on top of the color that I've already got down there. I don't feel like it's really doing anything, but it is. All right. Rather dramatic looking, isn't it? Oh. I saw something I didn't like. I was fixing it, so there's that. All right. Now let's go in with lips. Actually, we'll skip the lips first. We will go in and put mascara on. I'm seeing that I'm going to put false eyelashes on for this look. I am not going to line my eyelids, just because of how big of the eyelashes are that I put on. I don't personally care to have eyeliner with it. There are times where I do line my eyes, but I am not going to do that. in this video today. Now, even though I am gonna put false eyelashes on, I like to put mascara on just so that way when those eyelashes get thrown on, they blend in more nicely. Not only do they blend in a little bit better, but they just marry in, well, marry in better. You can see where your eyelashes are, and at the same time, if you are trying a look with the clown white as your base, your eyelashes have turned white from all of that white powder and that white base. So you want to see where your eyelashes are when you go to glue those eyelashes on. So this particular mascara, by the way, is by CoverGirl. It is a waterproof mascara. I prefer to use the waterproof mascaras due to the fact that I do work as a mermaid or merman or siren, depending on whether I'm feeling more masculine or feminine. I like to say siren. You know, some people don't know what that is, but now that the TV show is out, you probably do. But this is CoverGirl, and it was their limited edition Star Wars edition. Color is very black. Man, that was really hard to read. All right. So, one thing that I like to have in addition to putting on eyelashes, so I have an old paintbrush handle that I have ripped off, and I took a pencil sharpener to the end of it so that way I could have this nice little soft point that's not going to hurt me. And I'm actually picking eyelash glue off of this, by the way. And then I have an eyelash applicator. They now make eyelash applicator tweezers, which this is basically the same thing, but the where it looks like an actual tweezer. I'd like to get a pair of those. I'm probably not going to be buying any anytime soon because I need to conserve what little bit of money that I have with this whole coronavirus issue, and seeing how I am out of work for the time being. Another thing that I like to have when applying eyelashes is Q-tips. So before I open my eyelash glue, I am going to grab a pair of eyelashes. I don't feel like opening a brand new pair today. I like to wear them a couple of times. I clean the glue off every time. But these are 301s, which are very big eyelashes. I love them. They've got some nice little fan type. It's like bam, bam. Yeah, but if you want something subtle, you want something smaller than this. 301s are quite large. So I actually purchased these on Amazon, but you can get them at a theatrical supply store as well. So we are just going to pick off my excess glue from the previous time that I wore them, which sadly I believe was I think it was in the beginning of March. Either that or late February. I can't remember. Yeah. And then, since these fan out pretty well, the smaller piece goes towards your nose. So I like to sit them in where it's got a nice little bend to it, and the part that goes closest to my nose is mostly in there where the rest of it is out. All right. Don't want to have glue explode onto my eyelash. All right. So for those of you that are experimenting with eyelashes for the first time, I like to get a little tiny dribble of a dot hanging out of the eyelash glue tube. And I just gently pat it along. I like to get the corner set on the end, because that's a lot of times problematic for me. Everyone wears their lashes a little bit differently, so fun little thing to think about. All right, so Q-tip, my little pressy thing that I like to do. Let it dry for a little bit just to get some extra tack to it. You don't want it too wet while it's going on, but you don't want it completely dry also. All right. Now I like to take my Q-tip under my eye, so that way when I press my eyelash down, I'm not pushing the glue into my eye. Instead, the Q-tip catches the excess glue. And I just keep flip-flopping my Q-tip back and forth as I pat my eyelash down. Now my eyelash is still wet for the most part. I forgot to bring my fan in to help. So we're just gonna wing it. And then a lot of times I will go back in with another one. So I grab a clean one, and then I take my dirty one that I used under my eye to become the top. And then I go under with the clean one at the base. So that way, if there is any wet glue, it's not gonna go into my eye. And we are going to discard of those. I'm going to take a coffee break for just a quick moment before I put the other eyelash on. Give it some setting time. Normally I would fan this with my big old fan, but we'll just use this piece of paper that tells me my cheat sheet for my Jeffree Star Morphe brushes. So that's a nice little fan. See how I've got it really adhered on there really well, close to where my natural eyelashes are. And I like to go back up under it, assuming that it's still wet, and give it a nice little lift on my outer edge, just so that way it's got a nice little curl to it. A lot of people, before they put their eyelashes on, after they get their mascara put on, they like to go in with an eyelash curler and curl their lashes before they put their false eyelashes on. So that's something to consider. I don't have an eyelash curler yet. I keep telling myself I need to get one, but I haven't. And I will at some point. All right. Now that we're ready for my other lash, again, since I am putting on pre-worn eyelashes that I have worn on myself, because you really don't want to wear eyelashes that someone else has worn. So I going in and picking off some of my excess glue from the previous time that I wore these. All right. So we're going back in with my eyelash applicator again. And we are, there we go. Again, I've got the smallest or the shortest end all the way over to the side and left the larger end out, just so that way I can get a nice flared look. A lot of times I like to say a prayer before I put the eyelashes on, but I forgot to do it. So I may do it this time, but after I get my glue on. Funny thing about these is putting on false eyelashes is very much the same problem as doing winged eyeliner or even drawing on your eyebrows. They are most of the time not going to be identical twins, but they will still be siblings at the least. Again, the part that's got the corner of my nose near my tear duct, I like to give that a couple of dabs right there on the side corner there, just to make sure that it's golden. So I've got a new clean Q-tip, and I've got my stick for pressing. We're just gonna let that dry a little bit. Now usually I say the prayer before I put on my first lash, and then I say it again before putting on the second one. It's kind of similar to like what Alyssa Edwards says before putting on eyebrows, since she draws this on. But for me, it's please let the odds be in my favor of the eyelash deities being, you know, just as good on both sides. And if it's not, well, guess what? You have your good side, and then you have your better side. And whenever you go to take pictures with people, you're like, oh, no, no, no. Get on my good side so that way I can expose my better side. So we'll see what my case is with this. eyelash difficulties. There we go. Had a little bit of eyelash glue on my lower lash. Had to pull that stuff off before it dried. Don't want to create any issues with that. Now this time I'm going, now that I've got them pressed down a little bit, I'm going underneath my corner here just to make sure that's got a little lift with it. I'm a little bit more braver with this one, so I haven't went in with an additional cotton swab yet. All right, so clean cotton under the eye, and we are going under and pressing that. Ooh, I think I got a piece of cotton in there. My fault entirely. All right, so I'm having one of those the twins are not identical issues, and that is totally fine. I can kind of press this down a little bit to kind of fake it. But they're not too far off from each other, which is totally fine. But also my eyebrows aren't quite created equal at the same time, so we have that going, which is also fine. All right, now for my favorite part, or not, sorry, false hope there. I've decided that I am going to go in with a little bit of blush just to give a little extra substance to my face. I've got to dig through my other brush kit and find my blush brush. And I'm sure the one that I want is probably buried in the bottom. somewhere. So we'll just throw those in there. Alrighty. There we go. So I've got the, it looks like the MAC 129 3H brush. This one's kind of old, so unfortunately some of the numbers are worn off. All right, so we're just gonna go in with my brush for my blush, and I'm gonna go in with color called Telling Glow. It's an extra dimension blush. It's kind of a bronzy, peachy color. There's been times where I've went really heavy with it for when I was doing my mermaid work. And sometimes, depending on how you use it, it can almost have a sunburn look to your face, which is not fun. But I had done my mermaid scales with it, and with those you kind of have to go heavy, so there's that. Which actually next week that might be what I do, is I do a mermaid look for you. So I like to suck my cheeks in when I do this. All right. Now I went up just a little bit higher than what I did with my contour for this. And I'm going to go back in with my powder brush just to soften that out a little bit, just so it doesn't feel so heavy. All right. Now we are going to go in with my lip colors. Typically, I would just go dive in straight for my Jeffree Star color that I absolutely love. It's my favorite, favorite, favorite color out of my colors, but I'm not going to do that today. I unfortunately can't give you the look that I originally had anticipated, which was to give you a nude lip with a color liner, but I don't have any pencil liners, unfortunately. So, bum deal. I may have to cringe and go to Target and buy some cheap eyeliner pencils. Ugh. Yeah, being a salon professional, I prefer to use professional products when it comes to like that kind of stuff. So this particular color is from MAC, and it is from their Aladdin collection. I can't see what the color says. The print is really small. Plus, it's on a very chrome colored pan. Now, I like to draw my lips on a little bit differently than my natural shape. So a lot of times I will start off with a lip brush to kind of get my line going where I want it. This color is absolutely beautiful. It's nude. I don't wear very many nudes, but so far this is one of my favorite nudes. Come to think of it, honestly, I think it's my only nude that I have. I need to invest in more nudes. So I've got my MAC 318 lip brush, and I am going to go in at my Cupid's bow. And I made a nice little... Oh, you remember how like when you were a kid in art class and you made flying birds? That's basically what I'm doing with my Cupid's bow to make it a little larger. I have to say, I think surprisingly, this is probably a perfect match for lip color to my natural lip. All right. And then we're going to get my bottom lip. All right, now that I've got my lines where I want them, we're just going for the gold. All right. Let's just pull my hair down a little bit more and see how that looks. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me on this makeup adventure. and you have a happy and safe quarantine. Remember, we're all in this together. And please comment on my video and share and subscribe to follow. And again, I would love to hear some feedback on what you might like me to try next week with makeup, whether it be blocking my eyebrows down for the first time, which is where I would glue them down, because I've never done that, or trying the, instead of using my flat pan to get my nice straight line, try the tape issue. Try tape and see what that does as an experiment. Or would you like me to do one of my mermaid looks that I do? So I would love to hear what you like to hear or would like me to do next week when I post a new video. So thank you for joining me again. I'm Bella Phil Siren, or some of you know me as Sister Minerva or Tikva Naim. But please share and subscribe to Bella Phil Siren's makeup channel. Thank you. Bye.